you tell that it's playing?
Yes. Yes.
All right, guys. So just like I said this morning when we went over our learning objectives, in reading today, you are going to be able to notice your character's actions. You're going to watch and listen to how your character is acting, and you're going to use those ideas to form an idea of what that's telling you about your character. So is it telling you that they're bossy? Is it telling you that they're mean? Is it telling you that they're nice? Okay, we're going to think of some character traits here. So readers, we've begun the work of looking at our characters from the outside. So we started with stepping inside our characters and feeling what our characters are feeling and seeing what our characters are seeing. And just yesterday we started stepping outside of our characters and being observers and watching them. Okay? Today I want to teach you that another strategy for uncovering the kind of person your character is by looking at their actions. So readers can notice the actions of their characters to help them tell the kind of people that they are. We're going to read chapter 11 together, and what I want you to do is I really want you to focus in on the characters and what they're doing. Okay? Then you need to raise your hand and not shout out, please. Okay. All right. Chapter 10. We're going to read 10 and 11 out loud. Rob was sweeping the laundry room when Willie Mae, the Kentucky Star's housekeeper, came in and threw herself down in one of the metal chairs that were lined up against the cement block wall. "You know what?" she said to Rob. "No, ma'am," said Rob. "I'll tell you what," said Willie Mae. She reached up and adjusted the butterfly clip in her thick black hair. "I'd rather be sweeping up after some pigs in a barn than cleaning up after the people in this place. Pigs at least give you some respect." Rob leaned on his broom and stared at Willie Mae. He liked looking at her. Her face was smooth and dark, like a piece of beautiful wood. And Rob liked to think that if he had been the one who carved Willie Mae, he would have made her just the way she was, with her long nose and high cheekbones and slanted eyes. "What are you staring at?" Willie Mae asked. Her eyes narrowed. "What are you doing out of school?" Rob shrugged. "I don't know," he said. "What you mean you don't know?" Rob shrugged again. "Don't be moving your shoulders up and down in front of me, acting like some skinny old bird trying to fly away. You want to end up cleaning the motel rooms for a living?" Rob shook his head. "That's right. Ain't nobody wants this job. I'm the only fool Beauchamp can pay to do it." "You got to stay in school," she said, "else you'll end up like me." She shook her head and reached into the pocket of her dress and pulled out a single cigarette and 2 sticks of 8-ball licorice gum. She put one piece of gum in her mouth, handed the other one to Rob, lit her cigarette, leaned back in the chair, and closed her eyes. "Now," she said. The scent of smoke and licorice slowly filled the laundry room. "Go on and tell me why you ain't in school." "On account of my legs being all broke out," said Rob. Willie Mae opened her eyes and looked over the top of her glasses at Rob's legs. She said after a minute. "How long you had that?" "About 6 months," said Rob. "I can tell you how to cure that," said Willie Mae, pointing with her cigarette at his legs. "I can tell you right now. Don't need to go to no doctor." "Huh?" said Rob. He stopped chewing his gum and held his breath. What if Willie Mae healed him, and then he would have to go back to school? "Sadness," said Willie Mae, closing her eyes and nodding her head. "You keeping all that sadness down low in your legs. You not letting it get up to your heart where it belongs. You got to let sadness rise on up. Owen, I need you to sit down. You've been up twice." "Thank you, sir." "Oh," said Rob. He let his breath out. He was relieved. Willie Mae was wrong. She couldn't cure him. "My principal thinks it's contagious," he said. "Man ain't got no sense," Willie Mae said. "He's got lots of certificates," Rob offered. "They're all framed and hung up on his wall." "I bet he ain't got no certificate for sense, though," said Willie Mae darkly. She rose up out of her chair and stretched. "I gotta clean some rooms," she said. "You ain't going to forget what I told you about them legs, are you?" "No, ma'am," said Rob. "What'd I tell you then?" she said, towering over him. Willie Mae was tall, the tallest person Rob had ever seen. To let the sadness rise, Rob said. He repeated the words as if they were part of a poem. He gave them a certain rhythm, the same way Willie Mae had when she said them. That's right, said Willie Mae. You gotta let the sadness rise on up. She left the room in a swirl of licorice and smoke. After she was gone, Rob wished that he had told her about the tiger. He felt a sudden desperate need to tell somebody. Somebody who wouldn't doubt him. Somebody who was capable of believing in tigers. Chapter 11, one more chapter. That afternoon, Rob was out in front of the Kentucky Star, weeding between the cracks on the sidewalk, when the school bus rumbled up. Hey! He heard Norton Freemonger yell. Rob didn't look up. He concentrated on the weeds. Hey, disease boy! Norton shouted. We know what you got. It's called leprosy. Yeah! Billy shouted. Leprosy. All your body parts are going to fall off. They're going to rot off, Norton yelled. Yeah! Billy screamed. That's what I meant. Rot. They're going to rot off. Rob stared at the sidewalk and imagined the tiger eating Norton and Billy Freemonger and then spitting out their bones. Hey! Norton shouted. Here comes your girlfriend, disease boy. The bus coughed and sputtered and finally roared away. Ooh, what do we call that? The bus coughed and sputtered. Audrey? Starts with a P. Okay, so you want to phone a friend? Pick someone, please.
Talia.
I think it started with a P and then an H.
Not an H, but it's per. You're close. Bree, what's it called?
I know what the noise is, but I don't know what the name of it is.
Cameron?
Personification.
Personification. Okay. Can a bus really cough?
No.
Rob looked up. Sistine was walking toward him. She was wearing a lime green dress. As she got closer, he could see that it was torn and dirty. I brought your homework, she said. She held out a red notebook stuffed full of papers. The knuckles on her hand were bleeding. Thank you, said Rob. He took the notebook. He was determined to say nothing else to her. He was determined to keep his words inside himself, where they belonged. Sistine stared past him at the motel. It was an ugly two-story building, squat and small, composed entirely of cement block. The doors of each room were painted a different color, pink or blue or green, and there was a chair painted in a matching color sitting in front of each door. Why is this place called the Kentucky Star? Sistine asked. Because, said Rob. It was the shortest answer he could think of. Because why? She asked. Rob sighed. Because Beauchamp, the man who owns it, he had a horse once called Kentucky Star. Well, said Sistine, it's a stupid name for a hotel in Florida. Rob shrugged. It started to rain. Sistine stood in front of him and continued to stare. She looked at the motel and then over at the blinking Kentucky Star sign, and then she looked back at him, as if it was all a math equation that she was trying to make come out right in her head. The rain made her hair stick to her scalp. It made her dress droop. Rob looked at her small pinched face and her bleeding knuckles and dark eyes, and he felt something inside him open up. It was the same way he felt when he picked up a piece of wood and started working on it, not knowing what it would be, and then watching it turn into something he recognized. He took a breath. He opened his mouth and let the words fall out. Let's make a prediction. What do you think? What words fell out of Rob's mouth? He's talking to Sistine right now. Finn, what do you think?
He has a crush.
So maybe it has something about him having a crush on her, possibly. What makes you think that?
Because he was trying to carve her with the wood.
Okay, so that's a good piece of evidence. So he said that because he carved her in the piece of wood. Adriana, what do you think he's going to say?
Why you ask?
Okay, do you think he's going to ask her a question about why her knuckles are bleeding? Kylie, what do you think?
I think she might tell him about the tiger.
Oh, you think he might tell her about the tiger. Why do you say that?
Because he probably couldn't keep the tiger on the suitcase that he
Oh, and I love how you referred back to that. So she said that he probably couldn't keep the tiger in his suitcase. So his suitcase that he's trying to keep shut because he doesn't want any of his emotions and any thoughts and feelings coming out of it. And do you remember in the last chapter, what did he say? Sophie?
He said he wanted to tell somebody about the tiger.
Yeah, he wanted to tell someone.
I think he's either gonna say that he really likes her, or why is her knuckles bleeding and why is her dress torn up? Or I think her knuckles are bleeding and her dress is torn up because maybe she got attacked by the tiger or something.
Oh, we'll have to read to find out. He took a deep breath, he opened his mouth and let the words fall out. I know where there's a tiger. Sistine stood in the drizzly rain and stared at him, her eyes black and fierce. She didn't say, a real one? She didn't say, are you crazy? She didn't say, you're a big old liar. She said one word, where? And Rob knew then that he had picked the right person to tell. Okay. So, thinking back to our lesson, there were a lot of characters in there. Okay, we've got Willie Mae, we've got Sistine, we have Rob, and the three Monger brothers. Okay. So in chapter 11 of Tiger Rising, not the one with Willie Mae, but the one with the boys, okay, and Sistine, Billy and Norton are yelling from the bus window, disease boy, and your limbs are going to rot off. These are actions. Yelling is an action. That's a verb. Okay, it shows action. They're teasing and yelling at him. This tells me a lot about those two boys. This is not the first case where these boys have been mean, right?
Yeah.
They've been mean from day one, right? Grinding their knuckles into his scalp in the first chapter. Okay? If I pay attention to these actions of these characters, it reveals something to me about these characters. Okay? It tells me that they're the kind of people that are kind of heartless. Okay? Meaning without a heart. Now, do they really have a heart?
Yeah.
Yes, they have a heart. However, when we say someone is heartless, they don't really care. Okay? They're bullies. They like to knock people down with their words and their actions. They're mean. Okay? They enjoy picking on people who appear to need the most help. These actions are all evidence that I can collect that help inform me of the type of people that they are. Whoops. We're going to skip that page. I have an activity for you to do. It's a fun one. Okay? Do you see how I kind of listened to the characters' actions? I observed the characters' actions, and I was able to draw conclusions as to the type of people that the Three Monger boys are. Yeah. You are going to do the same task. I have for you a Disney video clip. And actually, I made the mistake. It's not even a Disney video clip. It's a short film clip of movies that a lot of you have probably seen before. Okay? In this clip, we have scenes from Brave, the movie Brave, and Despicable Me. Okay? You are going to get a handout from me in just a second where you are going to listen to the characters' actions. Okay? Observe and watch with your eyes the characters' actions. And you're going to use that to figure out what type of person is this character. What type of person is Gru? What type of person is Gru's mom? What type of person is Vector? And what type of person is King Ferguson? And I'll go over who that is in a second. Yeah, it's the dad in Brave. Okay? Freeze, please. Okay. So these are the directions. Thank you for putting your eyes on me and hands up. That means you're listening. I appreciate it. So the task is, in just a second here, I'm going to have you go back to your seats because you're going to need a pencil and the handout. Okay? You're going to need to find a space in the room, whether that be you need a whiteboard and your pencil and you're going to come back